I will always say that I'm a basketball player. We're told you have to transition and you need to not. It's like, no, I will always be a basketball player. I will always identify as a basketball player. It looks different the way that I play, but I am still an
Mm-hmm.
athlete. And that has feel more powerful because when you play sports competitively, you feel incredibly powerful. And then at some point they tell us because the refs aren't out there. Now all of a sudden you're not that anymore. And it's like, well, so now you just strip away all that power from this thing, like you said, that I worked so
Yeah.
hard on.
Did you know the average woman spends 7 years of her life dealing with period pain? WaveBy believes it's time to get those years back. Founded by an OBGYN, WaveBy is the first science-backed solution that regulates menstrual cycle and reduces period pain before it even starts. WaveBy has 3 products. By Irregularity from WaveBy is designed to help your cycle find its rhythm again. Packed with clinically studied nutrients like inositol, magnesium, and chasteberry, By Irregularity supports healthy ovulation, hormone balance, and smoother, more predictable cycles without prescription or hormones. By Cramps and By Bad Cramps are the proactive premenstrual products that target the prostaglandin messengers that cause cramps and heavy bleeding, so your life doesn't have to stop every month. Think of it as the new Midol, backed by science, built by women, and designed to keep you feeling like yourself. Join the thousands who have already said it's absolutely life-changing, including myself. I've been taking this product every day for nearly 6 months. I take By Irregularity and By Cramps, and it has absolutely reduced my cramping and regulated my cycle. It is super predictable. So head to waveby.co and use the code Lindsey Cortes for 10% off. Say bye to irregular or painful cycles and hi to your true rhythm. Because when your cycle's in sync, everything else just flows. Lindsey Cortes for 10% off your WaveBy purchase. Hi, fans and listeners, new or returning. I'm Lindsey Elizabeth Cortes, registered dietitian, sports dietitian, and your host of the podcast. We have a guest here today. I'm going to read off her bio for you. Angela R. Lewis. She is a former professional basketball player, author, and leadership strategist who helps athletes build confidence, communication, and life skills beyond the game. A 2-time graduate of St. Louis University and recipient of the Robbins Roberts Sports Communication Award, Angela has worked across sports education and media, training hundreds of athletes and leaders to find their voice and purpose. She is the author of the Game-Changing Assist and Post Moves, and her upcoming children's book, A Ball and a Chance, inspires young readers to embrace confidence, culture, and connection through sports. Drawing from her experiences living and coaching internationally, Angela offers a global perspective on leadership, wellness, and resilience. Angela, thank you for coming on the show.
You're welcome. Thanks for inviting me, Lindsay. I'm so excited to get into it.
Yes, I myself am working on a book. I've been saying this for a year now, but it's really going to happen. It's really going to happen. So I was just impressed when you reached out, and I'm like, oh, you've got 3 books, because now I've got insight as to what that really means.
Yes.
How much work goes into that, because you're working while you're also writing these books, right? And I think these books are so needed of helping athletes. Your second book, Post Moves, is specific to female athletes as well,
Yes.
and building confidence, leadership skills, because it's really, I think, what our conversation will get into today is, I still identify as an athlete, but at the same time, it's not like it was before. Same as you, you're not playing professionally anymore. So how do we transfer these skills that we've spent hours and years dedicating
Mm-hmm.
ourselves to a different type of world? So I'm really excited to
Yes.
chat with you.
Yes. I am so excited too. I made a decision last week that I will always say that I'm a basketball player. I'm tired of people telling me I have to stop saying that. Not you, but I'm saying
Yes.
you as well. Like we're told you have to transition and you need to not. It's like, no, I will always be a basketball player. I will always identify as a basketball player. It looks different the way that I play, but I am still an
Mm-hmm.
athlete. And that has really helped me feel more powerful because when you play sports competitively, you feel incredibly powerful. And then at some point, they tell us because the refs aren't out there, now all of a sudden you're not that anymore. And it's like, well, so now you just strip away all that power from this thing, like you said, that I worked so
Yeah.
hard on. Yeah. So I'm excited to dive into some of that as well.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I definitely still consider myself an athlete too, even though it's very, very different. But because it's a mindset of
Yes.
like this is a priority in my life. This is something I care about and have dedicated myself to and continue to dedicate myself to. And I actually, because of having children, it was COVID and then I started to have children. So I haven't competitively done anything in
Hmm.
5 years now. But I'm like,
Okay.
but someday I think I'm going to again, so I'm still an
Yeah.
athlete.
Exactly. Exactly. It's the mindset of an athlete. It's the willingness to get up that makes such a difference for us and how we
Yeah,
approach life.
yeah, yeah. Well, so much this is a great conversation already, but so much of your books and what you do for your work is this mindset, confidence, leadership. But it's not something that just comes naturally to people. Very often a skill you have to build. And I'd love to learn in your own journey, you know, what were some monumental moments in your life that you were like, I need to work on my confidence. I need
Hmm.
to build my confidence, or did it come naturally to you? Because sometimes we do look around sometimes at our peers and we're like, man, that
Hmm.
person's just confident, right? And
Right.
sometimes that puts ourselves down in the moment too. So we're like, why are they so confident and I'm not?
Hmm.
But I think there's more to it than that. So I'd love
It
to hear your
is.
journey.
I love conversations around confidence because I feel like all of us have it in some areas and not so much in other areas. And my
Mhm,
take is this. I was 6'1". I've been 6'1" since I was 12. And I wasn't very confident in basketball by any means. I hadn't played before. I was uncomfortable. And people expected me to be really good because I was tall. People, meaning like
mhm.
my teammates who were actually very good, they were really happy to get this tall girl on the team, only to realize she wasn't good at all. Um, so
Oh.
the beauty of this team, though, which speaks to confidence, is they were all actually very good. And so I got to see what the standard of a good basketball player looks like.
Mhm.
And I I was able to raise my game because of the environment. So I think the first part of confidence, Lindsay, is who are we around? Who are we listening to? Like what's the environment that we're in? And that really shapes, can often, especially early on, shape how we view ourselves.
Yeah.
So confidence for me in the classroom was top tier. I got all A's just about. I did really well. So for young people especially, I think it's important to look at confidence in compartments
Mhm,
versus as a blanket, not
mhm.
confident, confident. If you want me to bake a cake like my dad, who's a baker, no confidence in that area. If you want me to shoot hoops, confident all day.
Right.
So we can lean on our confidence in one area to help us feel better about ourselves when we're not feeling so good about another area.
Right, right. It's such a realistic reminder. We don't
Hmm.
have to be amazing, confident, great, or excel at everything. And those things that we might be struggling in or aren't so good in, we don't have to beat ourselves up over because, hey, I've got other skills in other areas.
Yes, that's the
Yeah.
conversation we're not having enough. We meaning like, I, prime example, I was in the gym last night
Mhm.
at a seventh grade girls basketball practice. Loved it. And the parent came up to me afterwards and I'm like, I just want my daughter to be more confident. And I said, okay, give her time. She's only been playing basketball for a year. She's not
Yeah.
going to be a great ball handler today or tomorrow or next
Mhm,
week. She
mhm.
should lack confidence because she hasn't developed those skills, but it will grow over time. So if we could give her one thing, Lindsay, and that's what I said, if we can give her one little thing that she can excel at and get better at and notice it, then we can get a compound effect of her confidence
Mhm.
growing.
Mhm. Absolutely. Yeah. Right. So yeah, if there's one thing in the game that she
That's
did really
it.
good, to continue to shower her with that so she knows
Hmm.
I'm succeeding in this area. This is good. And then it can flourish from there. You said something else really great about your own experience that when you started basketball, you had the height, but maybe the other girls were really so much better. But I think that says a lot about the environment you're in of surrounding yourself with people who maybe are better than you in some
Mhm.
aspects, right? And that's a scary thing to do. It's an uncomfortable place to put yourself in. And yet it's the exact thing when you can push yourself outside your comfort zone. I think it's that exact thing that helps you grow, that helps you build confidence. So, if you were on a team where everybody was the same as you, like
Mhm.
maybe you would have had that's more like a false sense of confidence of like, I'm
Yes.
good,
Oh, I
but
would have felt better about myself, no question.
yeah.
But I lucked into this team. It was definitely a blessing. I wasn't
Mhm.
looking for a team. I wasn't even looking to play basketball. I'd only played in the backyard with my brothers. I was
Yeah.
coming out of Blockbuster Video one day. Remember that old store with the where you'd
Loved it.
go rent the video? It was amazing.
So cool. Yeah.
I was coming out of the store one day and there was a guy who was a coach that saw me and asked if I could play and invited me to be a part of the team. What I did
Yeah.
not know was that they were a select team that traveled, that was winning the state championships and going to national tournaments. I didn't know.
Woo.
I didn't know. So he saw me
Yeah.
and said, "Tall girl, we need you. Come on." And it ended up being really challenging, but open basketball ended up opening the world for me. And so I'm forever
Yeah.
grateful. So sometimes
Clearly.
you just have to throw yourself into an environment, or sometimes you're thrown in an environment and you don't know why and it's hard. But over
Mhm.
time, you stay with it. Magical things can happen.
Yeah, yeah, and that reminder of how can I, even if in this moment this is hard and uncomfortable, maybe I can grow from this, maybe I can learn from it. So keeping that open mindset, like
Yes.
obviously you did at that time. Another thing I think that would be I find that so fascinating about your story that you were 6'1" at 12 years old. And so yeah, somebody picked you out saying, "Hey, you could succeed in certain sports where height is an advantage."
Yeah.
But I also imagine when we think about like nutrition, confidence, body image, that's something that really made you stand out. Was that something that you always embraced, especially as a 12-year-old? Or what was that journey like for you?
I didn't embrace being that tall. And what was what was interesting is in my home, I wasn't the tallest. I was actually one of the shortest. So at home, I had this really beautiful foundation and family structure that supported me and affirmed me. However, I was a bigger kid. And so some people in my family would joke and call me Miss Piggy. So nutrition was what I ate was always like kind of hovered. It was always a thought. And I grew up
Yeah.
with brothers, and their metabolisms were very different than mine.
Mhm.
so,
And they
so
grow differently at that
yes,
age. Yeah.
very, very differently. So, being called big, I was always referred to as the big kid, the big girl, and so
Mhm.
that became an issue for me until I learned about nutrition, and that wasn't until college.
Yeah.
So I just ate whatever, and it wasn't until I got older where nutrition became an important part of performance, but just life in general.
And I bring this conversation up. I had an interesting experience this summer. I have 7 nephews and 1
Mhm.
niece.
Oh, wow.
And so our niece is only 7. She's beautiful, smart, funny. She's so cute. But so she's growing. It's like, oh, she's not 4 or 5 anymore. She's 7.
Mhm.
She's growing. And I hadn't seen her because she doesn't live in my state. So I hadn't seen her in a while. And, I don't think it was me, but somebody, my family member, said a comment like, Olivia, you're getting so big. And we meant it in such a positive way.
Mhm.
And we actually kind of huddled later and we were like, when do those comments become? And so I was the one who spoke up in my experience working with females and body image. I said, obviously, like we said it in a positive way. We're like, you're growing, you look strong. It was all good. We were also like, we love your tank top. Like, we were
Mhm.
showering her with compliments, but it is interesting and it's sad. It's wrong how our society has made this term big feel like not a good thing.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be that way. We should be able to tell our 7-year-old and 12-year-old girls, you're big. That's awesome. We should be
Mhm.
able to do that. And yet it's something to be mindful of, like your 12-year-old mind, as you just
Yes.
shared with us, internalize that differently. So, and right now, my boys are very young, but they're also pretty big for their age. Boys tend to be different. But I still just keep telling myself things like strong, strength, you're growing,
Mhm.
and encouraging that growth is such a good thing. I think, for anybody else or anybody who has a daughter or, a teen, preteen that
Yeah.
their daughter's growing fast, we need to just really try as much as we can as their elders, as their parents, as their older sisters to embrace that and say
Yeah.
growing is good. That's what you're supposed to be doing. And it's impressive.
Yes.
And everybody's going to grow eventually. You just grew faster than others, which meant
Exactly.
you probably were fueling great. You know?
Exactly. I
Yeah.
have a little cousin and he's 10 and he's shorter than all of his peers, and he's like, "The girls are so tall." I'm like, "Give it time. It'll
Yeah.
level out and
It
the way it's
levels out.
supposed to."
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And yeah, and that's a different conversation too of, when people feel like they're shorter and then they feel
Mhm.
inadequate or younger or whatever. I mean, it's just it's so interesting how people
Yes.
internalize. But I think maybe the message here is just that uniqueness that everybody's supposed to grow and we do so at our own pace.
Mhm.
But I definitely think with girls, like it's a conversation to think on
Yeah.
of why do we have such a negative connotation towards big? We shouldn't. It's a
Yeah.
strength for you. It has clearly been a
It
strength
it
for you.
it has worked out. It's worked out pretty well.
It's worked out. Yes. But yeah, I really appreciated that on your website you said, that, at 12 years old that, at times felt uncomfortable, but you were able to turn that into confidence over time. It's what,
Yes.
that it made you stand out, but standing out can be a good thing.
Yes, and we all stand out in some way. There's something unique about us if we found the right environment. That me being 6'1" isn't great for gymnastics. That
No.
definitely is not the place where I would thrive. But I
Mhm.
found the place where I have the advantage. So it's like find your
Yeah.
advantage. It may not be in one area, this area, but it could be in another. It's definitely in another.
Right, right. Love that. So I want to go through your books because I think there's a
Okay.
great purpose in all of them. Your first book was called The Game Change Assist, and you talk about, your 6 step or your V6 framework. Could you run us through that quickly?
Yes, yes. The V6 framework, it's a really simple framework from valley to victory. And we
Mhm.
all go through it. And then we get back in the valley, then we make our way to victory and so on. So the
Yeah.
goal is to help young women, especially, understand the process. So the first part is in the valley, being honest about how did we get here. That's where the deep self-reflection occurs.
Hmm.
From the valley, we think about voice and mindset. What are we saying to ourselves? What environments are we in? What voices are we listening to?
Hmm.
And what changes need to be made? When we can
Hmm.
get clear about the voices, then we can assess the next step is vision.
Hmm.
And it's okay, what do I really want? Clearly, I'm in this valley. This ain't it. This is not what I want.
Yeah.
I'm clear about my mindset and what voices I'm listening to. Okay, what do I want next? I want to be a college athlete. Let's use this sports thing. Okay, I definitely want to be a college athlete. Then the values, this number four, the values is what do I have to believe? What actions do I have to take? What habits do I have to possess to help me get to that goal? So I need to eat healthy, eat right. I need to
Hmm.
work out. Maybe I need a trainer. So your values. From values, we get to the point of volunteering. Now, you've learned some things because you're coming out of this valley. You've
Hmm.
shifted your mindset. You have a new vision. You have new habits. Who can you teach that to? Who can you go and give and pour into and volunteer? Because now you have literally grown. And then the final V is victory.
Yeah.
So valley, voices, vision, values, volunteer, and victory. That's the
Yeah.
V6 framework.
I love that. So I've obviously never heard it expressed that way. But I wanna draw some parallels for me as a sports dietitian, working with athletes for the past few years, I've specialized in working with female athletes who are struggling with RED-S, energy deficiency, or
Mm.
disordered eating.
Okay.
And as you're talking, I'm like, "Yes, this is the process that people have to go
Yeah.
through." We don't just say like, "Oh, I have RED-S and tomorrow it's fixed." The process is first the valley of recognizing how badly this is affecting you, your health, your performance, and being able to identify. This is the
Yes.
problem, and
Yes.
vocalize it because that's their first step in reaching out for help. And then that's kind of like the voice, like talk about it, reach out for help, change your mindset. I do a
Mhm.
lot of mindset work in my role as a dietitian because we have to get our mindset right before we can step into those habits and behaviors. So vision, creating the goal. So now I know
Mhm.
where my valley is.
Yep.
I'm changing my mindset. I'm going to create the goal. This is where I really want to be. I don't want to be in reds. I don't want to have a disordered relationship with food. How do I really want to be instead? And really envisioning that. And then the values is, I think, where I also, the second part, I help a lot with the mindset and I help a lot with the values, which is creating the habits. What are the actual steps, the action steps that we need to take? And when you mentioned volunteer, I was like, yes, this is why I do a group program,
Mm.
because when you start talking to other people, you are not only helping yourself, you're helping others, which also then helps you. The
Yep.
group program, I remember when I first started working as a dietitian, I thought, no, this is too personal. People just want their one-on-one consults. When I
Mhm.
added the group, and everybody was scared to participate, but when I added the group, so much value in volunteering your journey, your story, your wins and your losses with other people. It's amazing how helpful that is because again, you're helping other people and helping others helps yourself. So we do that and then victory, right? And then it's like, I'm good. I got to my goal,
Yes.
right?
You
So, yes.
the victory piece too, Lizzie, I want to mention is the small wins. Because that
Mm-hmm.
first cycle, they may not actually like lose the 30 pounds,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe they lost 5. And so victory, the vision is the big vision. The the victory is really about the little things that get you closer to the goal.
Mm-hmm.
Because on your way there, you might slip into another valley, have to pull yourself out. So we have to recognize and celebrate the little wins because you can go on another dip,
Mm-hmm.
and we know the system to get us out of it.
Absolutely. I agree with that completely. You're going to go in and out, or just thinking about, yeah, the victory doesn't have to be for the big goal. It can
No.
be the little goal, the little wins.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely.
It's definitely the little. Yeah.
I love that.
Thank you for. I've never heard it apply to nutrition from a dietitian. Like that's amazing. Oh, that just warmed my heart.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I always like so yeah, every time on this podcast too, when like obviously I'm the dietitian, it's a nutrition podcast, but I value this confidence, leadership, all that. But it's like, wow, you can apply this framework because it's
Yeah.
still goal setting, right? It's still
Yes.
how do I build my confidence in nutrition? How do I build my
Yes.
confidence in reaching these nutrition goals? So absolutely. Fans, I'm pausing the conversation again to check in on you. Are you concerned that you have REDS? That's relative energy deficiency in sport. It's a syndrome of not ideal health consequences and performance consequences that all stem from the idea that you're not fueling optimally or fueling enough for your sport needs. I've become an expert in this over the years because unfortunately, a lot of female athletes struggle with this. We have research that shows sometimes up to 90% of female athletes might be suffering from at least one of the side effects of REDS. Other research says that up to 45% of female athletes are struggling with disordered eating. These are big statistical numbers, and I don't like it. I'm here to help you become fierce, fit, and fueled. So first and foremost, head to lindseycortes.com/REDS to learn more about REDS, listen to past podcast episodes, and take our free REDS quiz to see if this might be a concern for you. From there, I've got 3 ways to help you. 1, download the REDS Recovery Guide and start taking action right away. 2, join our REDS Recovery membership. For a very affordable $15 a month, you will have access to me as a sports dietitian to educate and empower you to fuel better. We meet once a week for live calls, Q&A. You have access to the recordings if you can't join live, and a community group chat to support, encourage, and motivate you along the way to fuel fiercely. Last, spots are limited for one-on-one help, but I can help you personally through one-on-one coaching, be it my Fast Track program, the Female Athlete System of Transformation, or perhaps Fuel School, depending on your age. All of that is on my website, lindseycortes.com. But because one-on-one spots are limited, I really want to encourage you to join the REDS Recovery membership. We live in a world where it's very easy to just hop online, read an article, listen to a podcast, and I think we do a decent job at getting information out there, but we all need someone to talk to and really ask those personal questions, and also be open and honest in a community that's going to support you in your fueling needs and goals. And that's exactly what this membership is. So only $15 a month. We meet once a week, and you will be provided with so much education and empowerment and support. I know you won't regret joining. Head to lindseycortes.com/Reds, and there you will see the Reds Recovery membership that you can join, and join us this week. It's time for you to be fierce, fit, and fueled. Yeah, amazing. So, and I'm curious to kind of continuing this nutrition conversation, because you've been a player yourself, obviously at your competitive travel leagues, collegiate, and then internationally as a professional player, and then you've been coaching. And did you coach stateside or internationally, or both? Both. There you go.
Yeah.
So you've traveled quite a bit, and I'm curious how culture has kind of shaped your perspective on nutrition, in different places that you've been, and fueling yourself.
Oh, this is such an important topic, and I think about it daily because I moved back to the States 2 years ago from Medellin, Colombia. So I was in
Oh,
South
only 2 years
America.
ago.
Yeah, was in South America, and the region that I lived in, the weather was so nice. They grew everything there. So
Yeah.
all of the fruits still had seeds, and you could get fresh fruit juice at every restaurant, and it was a very walkable culture. And so culturally, being in that environment, health is prioritized. Every Sunday, they would shut down the major streets, and it looked like a parade, Lindsay. People were walking, running, walking dogs, the juice vendors and food vendors, and being in that environment and culture really shaped my perspective of what does day-to-day health look like,
Mm-hmm.
and how do you create rituals. So the Sunday walk, although that was what the city did, it was just a ritual that everyone agreed upon. So what rituals can I create, albeit on Sundays or other days, that ensure that I'm maintaining health? And I'm still working on that. I have not arrived, but
Well,
it's
and like
always
you
top
said,
of
that
mind.
you've moved, and you're in a new environment now, and
Hmm.
but it's so that's to the point of how culture, people talk about this too, and like they go over to Europe, it's like, well, we walk more, or like
Yes.
we buy our
Yes.
bread at we
Right.
buy food at more like local markets, not massive grocery
Hmm.
stores, and how
Yes.
those little things actually do impact your health, because it could be the quality of food, like freshness, but it's also
Hmm.
it's the habits, it's the daily rituals that are
Yes.
just different than here in the United States.
Ye- Yes. I lived in Germany, and it was the first time I walked to, like, a bakery and a food stand. Everyone did it. And you have your bags, and the food was fresh, and you walk back home, and it was I even smelled different. I
Yeah,
know, like, that food impacts your pH, and so that food, it was just very fresh. It was very different. So
yeah.
it's important to always keep that top of mind.
Yeah, and I think so obviously, if here for you and me, like you're in a pretty big area, Dallas, like I'm in San Antonio, like I'm not walking, I'd have
No.
to cross over 6 lanes of highway. So
The
I'm not
highways
doing
in
that.
Texas. I know this is not a highway podcast, but my God, I have
They're
never.
crazy.
They are.
I call them, yeah, when I first moved here, I really was quite overwhelmed. And I'm from the Northeast, like Boston area, and people always complain
Ah,
about Boston traffic too, or like, and my sister lived in New York City, but like, no, I came over here and I was like, this spaghetti, the way like the overpasses, like go, it's wild. And then sometimes I'm like, am I on a roller coaster
yes,
here? Like
yes,
driving up this ramp?
yes,
And I get some
definitely.
real intrusive thoughts sometimes of like, if I just turn the wheel, I'd be done. I would fall. Yeah. Oh my God. It's awful. Those intrusive thoughts. Highways here are crazy. So, anyways, I'm not walking to go get my food fresh made. But so then we have to think like, what are some rituals then that I can
Yeah.
create in my own life? It might, and I'm just drawing a parallel here. It's going out on a Sunday morning walk and then hitting up the grocery store.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
definitely. I live in an area where there is a kind of a mini mall, for lack of a better word, restaurants, but one is clean juice. There's a clean juice right up the street.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. And then there's a Sprouts Market, which is a
I
smaller
like
grocery that has, so being intentional, even if it's just the grocery stores that we shop from, if that's
hmm
possible, or finding the smoothie places. If you're going out to eat anyway or grabbing lunch anyway, just
Yeah.
trying to think about making better choices daily.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is interesting. Like I'm a very when it comes to nutrition, I have a lot of food freedom. I can find the good in all food. I preach that to my clients. But I will say, because I've lived in a couple different states now. I'm from Massachusetts. I'm kind of New England's pretty small. So like all those states up there, I'm kind of familiar with. And then I've lived in Florida, Georgia, now Texas. I've had siblings in North Carolina, Colorado, New York. So I feel somewhat cultured in it's a handful of states here.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting though how where you live really changes the scene. Because here in Texas, you and me in Texas, I have been shocked at the fast food culture.
Yes. And they
I am
give you a
shocked.
lot of food, and everything is bigger in Texas.
Everything is bigger in Texas.
You've
And
gone to
and
restaurants. Hmm.
yeah, and it really does shock me sometimes. Like I'm not saying I don't eat fast food because like I have that food freedom approach towards it, but I drive and I'm like 5 o'clock on a Tuesday, every fast food place has a double line,
Hmm.
wrapped around the building. And it's like that culture of like, why is everybody doing this all the time?
Yeah. Because they're stuck in traffic. And no, I don't know. I don't know. But yes, it is. There are a lot of fast food and restaurants around here.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's interesting. And then I have a lot of clients that like I've had a lot, I should say, over the years, because I just started working with somebody else who's from California. And like the number of health food stores that they have there is just like so I'm like, we don't even have that option here. Like I do have a Sprouts here. There's a Trader
Mhm.
Joe's, but they just have like these mom and pop health food stores,
Oh,
like unique things there. Yeah, it's just like California is just more of a health forward state in that sense. So and there's pros and cons there too, because every once in a while for some of my clients out in California, I'm like, can you just get a milkshake? You need some calories right now, you know?
mhm.
But so even in the United States, there's a lot of variability as
Yes.
to what that food culture can look like.
It's very true. I've eaten more brisket the past 2 years than I have my entire life because I'm in Texas. Like, brisket is a thing
You
here.
do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Environment matters. You just have to be aware and not get swept away into the
Yeah.
extremes on either side, to your point.
Right,
Definitely
right.
extremes on either side.
And be aware, like I think it's great what you said. You do eat the brisket, like you can embrace you can be in the moment, embrace the culture that you're at, and also be aware and
Mhm.
build some habits. Yeah. So interesting. Okay. So I speaking to so when you're playing as an athlete, your caloric needs are really high, right? It's like
Mhm.
fueling all the time. And then maybe as you like you said, as we started this conversation, you're still a basketball player, but there is a difference from playing professionally to, what you're doing now and same with me. I still call myself an athlete, but there's a difference compared to when I was a collegiate athlete.
Mhm.
And so sometimes that shift from what your expectations and needs are for yourself as an athlete change once you're, post professional or post high level career. And I'm speaking of the nutrition piece, but really
Mhm.
everything in life changes. That's what your second book is about, post game.
Yes, everything definitely changes. And it's that book, I interviewed 15 women who are all college athletes. And they
hmm
play different sports, different levels, and they talked about their transition. And for me, the transition from playing, what I missed most was the team.
Yeah,
The
social.
training, you still can train, you still can travel, that's part of it. But being in the locker room, being in a huddle, high-fiving, that you can't manufacture that unless you coach. And then coaching still gives you that fix. So
Yeah.
on the nutrition side, definitely needed less calories. Metabolism definitely doesn't go like it's not as fast as it used to be. So to your point about food freedom, I still eat the things that I love, but a lot less of it
Mhm,
because I'm not burning what I was burning before. And the
mhm.
parts of the team side that I missed that a lot of the women in the book alluded to was you have to find a new team, find a new
I
team,
me too.
find a new community, stay in community and don't leave your professional or your collegiate spaces and then become alone because we need people and so much of who we are as athletes in sports. People are the people that we're around and we do things with.
And again, I think here in 2025, this is a challenge for people to engage with their community, to find their people, because we can get sucked into a 9 to 5 and we can get sucked into the traffic
Hmm.
and sucked into our phones and
Oh,
our internet. And yeah.
you're so right. You're so right. And one of the things I did when I moved here to Dallas, I knew I needed friends and I needed community. And I don't like just regular networking events. I feel very awkward in those places, but I
Mhm,
love sports. And so I found out about this group called Women in Sports and Events.
mhm.
And there's all these women who love sports, who work in and around sports. And I went to a few events and I was like, y'all are my people. Let me
Yeah.
come and be a part of this.
Mhm.
And so finding community and finding a new team can really help as people, whether you're changing cities or jobs or sport, it's very helpful.
Yeah. Yeah. And for me, when I started working this business in the beginning, it was very isolating because
Mhm.
it was just me behind a computer screen talking to my clients. But when I started hiring people under me and we started doing team meetings and team huddles, and it was so empowering. And it was funny too, because I focused on female athletes, obviously. And so everybody I hired was female. And it gave me that feeling of being back on an all female sports team, and we lifted each other up and we empowered each other and we helped each other set goals. And it was really awesome. The dietitian who was working with me, Jenna, we were like, here we are, middle aged, and we're like, girl power, because we were just
Yes.
getting that from each
Mhm.
other. So that I think that is so important that's where like your lessons as an athlete of like being a team, finding your people, coming together, rooting for each other, and transferring
Yes.
that into even if it's not on a sports team per se, but how can you
Yeah.
apply that to other aspects of your life?
Yes, and the girl power thing is real. It's like it never goes away. One of the things I trick myself into is in my mind, I'm on the team with all of the people in my life. And so I
Mm,
create this, they might not necessarily be connected to each
yeah.
other. And some of them may be, but in my mind and heart, it's like these people are my team.
Mhm,
They're the team that lifts me up and I pour into them. And maybe some of them will meet each other and maybe they won't. But it helps in those moments where you feel a bit isolated or you need that extra support, thinking about who's on your team and
mhm,
literally creating what you need for
right.
yourself.
Yeah, and maybe hopefully I'm not stretching too far here, but, like, in sports, your team is maybe created for you.
Yes.
Now you have to create your own team, and I think that's huge.
Yes.
Sorry, again, I'm drawing nutrition parallels.
Yes.
I'm thinking about my clients and
Hmm.
RED-S or disordered eating recovery. Like, you have to create your team, and you have to do
Yes.
that for yourself.
You
Yeah,
do.
I think that's
You
powerful.
take
Mhm,
responsibility for the people and the environments that you are part of because no
mhm.
one's going to walk up to you and say, "Hey, you need support right now. Okay, let me give you everything you need. Oh, you need
Right,
friendship? I will be your friend today."
right,
That's rare. Go find the people, be willing to
right.
put yourself out there. I
Yeah.
hunted these people down with women in sports. I said, Hello, I need friends. I love sport. You love sport. Let's be friends." And so I went to events. I met people,
Yeah,
and now I'm on
yeah.
the board. I'm like, I'm all in.
Right,
It's,
right. Well, and again, confidence, right? It can be so scary to do that, to put yourself out there, put yourself in that uncomfortable position, but you do it. And when you see, okay, well, now I've got somebody's phone number. I'm meeting up with somebody for coffee. Like now I'm part of these regular meetings. I'm on the board.
Yes.
Like then somebody's looking at you, man, she's got so much confidence. She's on the board of directors, blah, blah. And it's like, but it started from that uncomfortable, hey, you want to be my
Yes.
friend?
Hey guys, I'm here. Yes, yes. Please, if you're listening, put yourself out there. If you need people, if you need to be in healthy environments, if you need people to pour into you and pour into them,
Yeah.
put yourself out there to serve. So this the volunteering piece, if we dip back into that V6 model, it starts from the valley, but you can hop into any one of them, right? My
Yeah.
valley was I came to a new city. I didn't know anyone. The voices around were just like me on the computer. I was like, okay, I need like professional friendships where who around people who love sport. Okay, well, who can I help? My
Hmm.
vision was I would have friends who are in sports. So who can I help? I found out about this organization and said, let me serve first. Not will you be my friend first? I figured if we were serving, then the byproduct would be
Yeah.
friendship because we
Yeah.
have the same heart space and care about the same cause.
That's a great approach coming from a place of service. I think that's yeah. So remembering that aspect of volunteer and another good reminder that you can kind of focus on any of these V6
Mhm.
framework, you can focus on any one of them that's needed at that moment in time.
Yes,
Doesn't always have to be a linear
because
process.
life is not linear at all.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. You've got one more book that's so cute. So for the young reader, right? A Ball and a Chance.
I am so excited about this book, Lindsay, because I was asked to speak on a panel at the local Boys and Girls Club, Matthew Sticky. Shout out to Matthew Sticky Boys and Girls Club in St. Louis.
Yeah.
And the conversation was with K through 5 students about literacy. They knew about my other books and invited me in to talk about my process as an author. And the event organizer said, your other books are for older
Right.
people, like older young people. You don't have a children's book, but we still want you to come to this event and speak. I got off the phone with her and said, I'm going to write a children's book. I didn't get it done before the event. I tried, but I didn't get it done before the event. And so A Ball and a Chance was written out of the heart space for the kids who attend Matthews Dickey Boys and Girls Club. And the story is about a little girl named Destiny who
Mhm.
happens to be very tall and loves basketball, of course.
Mhm.
And she feels uncomfortable, but her aunt takes her to a basketball camp in Colombia
Mhm.
where she meets new kids. She learns some Spanish words, and she realizes that basketball courts anywhere in the world are home for her. And so we have those spaces and those places where we can feel comfortable and confident. And
Mhm.
so I'm just so excited about this one and this story.
Yes, I love it too. So it's because it's all the themes, right? It's
Mhm.
the putting yourself in an uncomfortable place and having that become a place that builds confidence.
Yes.
It's taking a chance. It's, being a girl and it's basketball all together.
Yes. All
So,
together. There is one other component that's central to the book.
okay.
And that is, I believe, wherever you go, you take wherever you're from with you. So
Mhm.
each illustration in the book has a little St. Louis arch on it somewhere. And
That's
so
cool.
readers have to find it. I won't
Mhm.
give you hints about where it is, but when you get the
Yeah.
book, you'll have to search and find the little arch.
That's fun. Well, and that's what's so fun about a children's book too, right? Is it's the story, but the illustrations are
Mhm.
so key as well. So, yeah. So, what I thought with Christmas coming up, this might be a fun little gift for, if you have, again, a young daughter or niece, or if you're an athlete mentor to a younger up and coming athlete, this might be something really awesome for them.
Yes, yes. It is it's gonna be such a fun story. It's such a fun story. And so I look forward to getting more feedback. And the feedback that I've gotten so far has been really positive, and the kids have
That's
connected with the characters.
Yeah. Yes, amazing. So, Angela, I also want to give you a moment because we're obviously hearing you with your story and speak about building confidence, translating skills as an athlete into leadership, building your community. And this is also what you do this. You do this for workshop. You have your books, but you lead workshops. You do some, I think you do some like coaching, even individual. So can you share a little bit? We can go to your website, of course, but share a
Yes.
little bit about how you can reach out teams, organizations, individuals.
The core of everything I do is the V6 model. It's where are
Oh,
we and going through the process. So there are a series of activities and trainings around each one of those 6 Vs. So
okay.
that's for athletic programs or, like you said, organizations or individuals. Maybe you're stuck in this one area and you're trying to reach the point of victory. It's really personal growth and development is what
Yeah.
it boils down to. My website is AngelaRLewis.com, R like rebound, Angela R.
Mhm.
Lewis. And then, or you can just reach out to me on LinkedIn, Angela
Yep.
R. Lewis on LinkedIn, Instagram, the Angela R. Lewis. So you can find me on any of those platforms and reach out. Would love to have a conversation.
Love that. Thank you so much, Angela. I learned a lot from you. I loved
You're
hearing your
welcome.
story. And I think that the work you're doing is very needed for all athletes and female athletes, kind of at all different stages, too, right? That's what I love. It's like we can build confidence at a young age while you're
Yes.
actively playing and while you're perhaps done playing and thinking about the next steps in your life. So lots to learn from you. Thank you, Angela.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thanks so much for listening, and I really hope you enjoyed that episode. Please help spread the message of empowering female athletes to be fierce, fit, and fueled by giving this podcast a 5-star review and leaving a comment. You can also help more female athletes by sending this episode to a friend. Head to lindseycortes.com for more resources, information, more episodes, ways to work together, downloadable guides, and ebooks. And if you're interested in becoming a guest on the show or have a guest suggestion, head to lindseycortes.com/podcast, and there's a form for you to fill out to get on the show. Hey, there's more resources on my YouTube channel, Female Athlete Nutrition, Instagram at female.athlete.nutrition, and private Facebook group, Female Athlete Nutrition. I think you get the point. I'm here to support female athletes by fueling better and becoming fierce, fit, and fueled. Most importantly, if you need help, reach out. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next show.